Hello, welcome to Bad Influence. As you can see, we've got some friends round for our Christmas party! But the bad news is, unfortunately, this is the last Bad Influence in the present series.
Aww. The good news is we're looking at all the good stuff that's coming out in the new year, including a look at one of the first 3DOs in the country. Is this the console that's going to take over the world?
Our main review is Super Empire Strikes Back on the SNES. And Z Right visits the future where three-dimensional television and violins that sound like entire orchestras are just around the corner.
But first, have a look at this. It's the intro sequence to a new beat-em-up called Rise of the Robots. You control a cyborg who's been sent into a robot research laboratory where apparently all the robots have contracted a violent virus and are killing off all the humans. Nowadays, making a game like Rise of the Robots can be more like producing a movie than writing a computer program. They even use movie-style storyboards. For example, here's the storyboard for the intro sequence you just seen from Rise of the Robots. And there's a spaceship going into the building. And over here's the robot coming through the light.
The game started life about 2 years ago as a set of ideas banded about between artists and programmers. And then somebody decided to put all those ideas down on paper and came up with this, the so-called games design document. This is like your instruction book and some. It's got all the information on the game, all the pathways through the levels, pictures of the backgrounds, pictures of some of the robots. It's all in here. But nobody went near a computer until the artists actually finally started to design the main characters. And they start out life like this, as kind of skeletons, wireframe models. And if I change our viewpoint, you might get a better idea of what this one is. Still not very clear though, is it? What you need to do is add a bit of texture to this model. Now you can see that it's a robot with an ape-like head. The next stage, of course, is to animate the models, and to do that they use a program called a keyframer. The models are represented initially by boxes, so you can quickly get a sense of how they're going to move. The interesting thing is that in this sequence, only the white lines were done by the artist, the initial frame and the end frame, and all the black lines were done by the computer. The computer's done all the in-between moves, and the only time the artist had to tweak it is here, where the computer didn't quite get the position of the model just right.
Two other interesting facts about the game. The first is that the backgrounds were designed by a professional interior designer. And secondly, you can't just bash the same old buttons again and again to win, because the computer will suss you out. You see, the computer-controlled robot's opponents will sort of watch the way you fight and remember it, and then they'll adjust their tactics to cut through your defences. Cunning. After all this, the final element to add to the game is a sample of sound effects and music, and then there you have it. 2 years' work cut down into 3 minutes.
Christmas bells, ding dong ding dong. Christmas bells are in my song. Hello, festive furtlers. I'm dead excited because I'm preparing for the best Christmas party this year. Hey! All my friends are coming, and Spiky and Flash and Cuddles, and even Andy and Violet too. Right, I've not got much time, so here's a quick cheat for Super Tennis on the SNES. First of all, select your player, and then get controller 2 and press L 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and X, and then R 7 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and finally X again, and wait for the music to change. And your player will become an instant top seed. Brilliant. And now, for the first of my guides to a better Christmas. How to eat chocolates off the Christmas tree without anybody knowing. First of all, carefully unwrap the chocolate, eat it, and then wrap it up again, and hang it on the tree. Perfect.
So that's why he's so spotty. Our main review this week is Super Empire Strikes Back on the SNES, the follow-up to last year's amazingly successful Super Star Wars. The new game is a 12-meg cartridge with some spectacular Mode 7 graphics. There are 14 levels representing all the best bits from the film. You even get to fly in the Millennium Falcon through an asteroid field with Princess Leia at your side. As in the original game, you start as Luke Skywalker, complete with lightsaber, but you can change to playing Han Solo or Chewie on later levels. Here's Han in the freezing chamber. Watch out for those carbons. You're going to need skill, courage, and all the force you can muster. Here's Alex.
This is a major improvement on Super Star Wars. The only problem is that the first couple of levels are a bit too hard, but persevere because there's some great bits later on. This is my favourite bit from the film. I'm in the snow speed, and what I've got to do is bring down those AT-ATs. If you press left and right, then you can flick out a rope and get it round the legs of the AT-AT. Then you've got to spin round. These graphics are excellent. It uses Mode 7, and the sound's a vast improvement on the first game. I've brought him down. Here I am on the Dagobah Forest level. I've just met Yoda, so I've earned the Force. I've got loads of different powers, but what I need now is elevation. This will help me get up onto this top platform. There's loads more forces, including heal, which helps you when your energy's a bit low, and invisible, which really helps when you're fighting Darth Vader at the end. This game is near perfect. I just couldn't stop playing it till I finished it. It's magnificent.
This is fantastic. It's the best film conversion I've ever played.
It's a massive game, with excellent graphics and gameplay.
And so the final scores for Super Empire Strikes Back, both the girls and the boys gave it top marks, 5 out of 5. In his final report from the States, Z. Wright has been to visit the Media Lab, part of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Boston, normally called MIT. It's a place where the future is just a train ride away.
Hi, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology is so famous that it has its own subway station dedicated to it, with some really cool exhibits right in the middle of the track.
I'm here to visit the Media Lab, which is the part of the institute where art and science mix. I have a feeling I'm about to take a walk on the wild side. Down here is the holography lab, where they're working on the leading edge. These are some experimental holographic animations. Very few people in the world have ever seen moving holograms like these. They were made by using 3 beams of laser light, red, blue, and green. One of the biggest computers in the world is needed to compute the vast amount of information in this cubic image.
And by using these controls, I can move it around interactively.
We're hoping that we're in the same age that television displays were in the 1930s. And therefore, in the next 50 years, we'll be able to show some great improvements in holographic displays.
In the Visual Language Workshop, students are working on software that can change the viewer's focus from one thing to another.
They can do interesting things with layers of text and even play around with it. On this map, which looks very confusing with all the information on show, they can shift the focus to just highlight 1 or 2 features. This software can also be used in animation, an effect which would otherwise be difficult to achieve.
These little boxes are the product of another piece of software called the Video Streamer, and this represents a piece of movie.
I love sending personal messages.
The technique was created by Professor Gloriana Davenport. Here, all the clips of the movie that have been shot for a film can be easily selected and edited together like a moving card index. Just choose any bit of film in the streamer, and it'll play out frame by frame along the bottom of the screen. You can turn on the soundtrack to get the edit exact. It's a really quick and flexible way to edit a story.
Just down the hall, they're doing some strange things with music.
Very fast, change the bow and do a little tremolo.
This is a hyper violin, invented by Professor Todd McCullough. The computer already knows the piece of music, and so the bow acts like the conductor's baton.
So we want to measure lots of things about the way you're playing, how loud and how soft.
The computer knows what's being played because of special transmitters built into each end of the bow and connected by a metal strip. Their signal is picked up by a receiver built into the violin. The computer can then map exactly the position of the bow and produce a visual readout on this monitor. The hyperviolin is designed to be used only by virtuoso musicians. The team here have also developed a drum boy, using a keyboard fitted with its own computer. Yo, I think this could start a whole new career. To Nam, happy Christmas, love Spiky. That's nice. P.S. I won't be able to make the party. I've got to do something. Oh well, all the more cake for everyone else. Now time for part 2 of my guide to a better Christmas. Your presents are most likely to be hidden in number 1, the spare room wardrobe, and number 2, the cardboard box under your mum's bed, or number 3, in the chest of drawers next to the front door. Right,